I'm Allie. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melissa and I have 2 kids and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles. Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles. Here we are.
After this week's episode, though, we might be the Crime Chronicles.
I know. We might be changing this thing up. Let's just start a gay crime show.
Everybody knows I love a good crime
So do
podcast.
So do I. I'm listening right now also to the King Road Killings, and it's a podcast. But every day I'm looking for a new episode, and there isn't one. And literally the other day I told Tate, I'm like, look on my phone. Is there a new episode? She's like, you are like a problem. Like you are like jonesing for more content on this.
For more crime content, man. Is that the one that 2020 is doing?
It's Yep.
Yeah. I've been listening to that one. And then I've also been listening to this one about this girl who murdered her dad in North Carolina a few years ago. Ooh. And like apparently she did it and she just was like trying to like live her life still.
Wait, why did she kill him? Was he a jackass?
It sounds like they had a good relationship. Like I haven't gotten that far into it, but it's called Killing Dad.
Okay.
So that one's pretty good. But yeah, with some stuff happening in the news lately, I feel like we're going to have a few more good podcasts to listen to.
I know, like the Gilgo Beach.
The Gilgo Beach, that's wild.
I'm intense in that. Like, especially because they showed today, I was watching this thing where they show him chatting it up at work with people. And he's like every dork at the office, Like he's not even like a weirdo, really. It's easy
right.
to
I heard a voicemail.
Yeah.
And he sounded so normal.
He's so office guy. It just makes you think that it's not even like they're going to paint him for the picture he is. He's a complete freak, crazy person. But I almost think like people are so desperate not to get caught for their, like I wonder sometimes if his motivation isn't necessarily that he's a cold-blooded killer. It's that he's cheating and he's like gross and he's living this double life.
The thrill of like the double life
or
situation.
Just like more like I've got to get this person out of the way because I'm afraid I'm going to get, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Like the reasoning behind it, but I can't imagine.
No, you're right.
I mean, if someone's consistently doing that,
phones, it's like you're getting away. Yeah. You don't need to go through all that.
Yeah. That one's wild. And then that case out of Alabama, Carly Russell, who it appears so far has faked her whole kidnapping. And the funny thing is, I think the reason why everybody latched onto that case, this is the one where the woman said that she saw a toddler walking along the side of the highway and called 911 and was like, this is weird, and then disappeared.
Yeah.
I think the reason why that kind of like got everybody is because that's like an urban legend, right? Like I've heard of this kind of thing happening.
Yeah, you're right. Like where there's a baby
it's kind
on
of
your
the
doorstep,
same thing.
You open the door.
Yeah, you find a baby at the doorstep, or like there used to be a thing about like putting zip ties on your door handle of your car. Like if you saw that, like don't mess with it, just get in your car and go, and like stuff like that. But it's like, do we have actual like legitimate cases that like resulted in something actually happening to someone, or is this just like urban legend?
About the zip ties. That's really scary. That would take me at least 5 minutes.
And you'd be gone, and your Achilles heels would be slit by the person sitting under your car.
Duh.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, but that's really scary. No, the baby crying thing is a thing. Like I always think about is like if I heard that, what would I do?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think if I saw a kid wandering down, I mean, I stopped to like see kids at the mall or something like that are wandering around, like, or at the ballpark, and been like, who do you belong to? Like kind of, or watch to make sure that like there was a parent nearby. Like that's something people pick up on.
The airport where there's so many signs now about trafficking that I think everyone's trafficking. I'm constantly like, he totally looks like a trafficker. Watch, keep an eye on him. That kid doesn't know him. I can tell.
That girl looks a little nervous.
That girl looks so nervous.
That's hilarious. I don't really notice it at the airport, but you're right. That's probably like where you need to be paying attention to the
Oh my God, I'm
most.
all over it.
I'm also terrified going through security at the airport. So I'm like convinced that they're going to like accuse me of carrying something that I don't actually have.
I know. What
Like,
is it that I get anxiety too walking through it?
I don't know. Like they pulled my bag last time when we were flying out to California.
Was your
And I'm
vibrator in
like,
it?
no, that was my checked luggage. Um, I know better than to put myself through that kind of embarrassment. But every time they pull it, I'm like, oh my God, like what's in there?
I hope I don't have a
What's
gun in
in
there.
there? And like this time it was the ice in my water bottle. Like they just
Oh,
wanted to make sure it was ice because you can take ice through the through security.
why can you take ice? What if I froze like explosives?
Because I guess they don't freeze all the way. Kind of like alcohol doesn't freeze all the way,
Okay.
but
Why do you
I
know
do it
so?
all the
Why do you
time.
know so much
Why do I know so
about
much?
that?
Actually, one reason why I do know so much is because back in my reporter days, I did a story with the FBI where they conducted a series of like explosions using the same amount of liquid that you can take on an airplane. Yeah. And I'm like, well, why are we letting any liquid
Yeah, we shouldn't let any
on the
liquid.
airplane
Right,
if
right,
you're
right.
doing this out of like 3 ounce containers? It was pretty terrifying.
I know.
And that was
My
like 15 years ago.
Reed is like in this, like his uncle gave him a pocket knife, like a Swiss Army pocket knife, really into the pocket knife. And so I always like, whenever we get, like we get stopped every time. I mean, one of us at least always gets their bag pulled. And I'm always like, oh my God, please don't let Reed's pocket knife
Be in there. Oh my God.
There's no telling
He's
what
going
our
to get
kids
put on the
have.
no-fly list.
Exactly. There's no telling what the kids have. Well, what are we chatting about today?
I wanted to talk about green flags.
I love that because we talk so much about red flags.
We're pretty negative Nancy's
We are
over
so
here when it
negative.
comes to
Basically,
some stuff.
everyone sucks.
Everybody sucks. Beware. Just lock yourselves in your homes.
Exactly.
Don't listen to any babies crying outside.
Exactly.
They don't need you.
Exactly.
It's all a trap.
It is true though. Like people will say, like, "Oh, I like everybody." I don't like everybody. Like I've realized I don't. I like 1 in maybe 10 people that I think are, like, I don't know. It's like a me thing. I think like I'm not. I'm getting to a place where I just don't like everybody. I don't like most.
Don't like most.
And it's not even.
I feel like I'm really
like.
trusting of
You are
everybody.
very trusting.
Like right off the gate.
Yeah,
And
I'm not at
a
all.
friend of mine just pointed that out to me the other day. She was like, I've got like my enemies stacking up, like
Yeah.
people that she's friends with and like
Yeah.
the friendships just
Keeping
aren't
an eye
working
on
out.
you.
Or
Yep.
and she's like, you just kind of like know everybody. Like you don't have any enemies. And it's like, I think it's more so just because I kind of like take a little bit of a back seat. Like I'm not really getting to know that many people like on a deep level, like I know you and I
Yeah.
know like my close core group,
Right.
but like everybody else is kind of like
I think you
I know
also,
them on
though,
the outskirts.
are even the people that maybe you're more likely to like forgive or move on and
Yeah,
let them
I'm
hang
way more likely to
around.
forgive.
Yeah, and just let them hang around. Whereas I'm like, you're dead to me, and I'm telling everybody everything.
And
that
I
happened.
should be that way.
No,
I'm a
you shouldn't.
Scorpio. I should just be
Yeah.
like, get the fuck out
It's
of
a
here.
horrible quality. It's actually interesting because my daughter said to me when this was like a year ago when I was dropping her off at college, she was just like, one of your best and worst qualities that you've passed on to me is this like fierce loyalty that like my friendships, my relationships, like I demand so much that it's just like I don't have any tolerance. And it's like I'm hard on people for that reason. And I'm like, God, you're right. Like I hate that. I'm that way. Like
Yeah.
my expectations for people are big and it's.
Yes, but like I feel like people get a pass. Like so you don't know what everybody's
You're right.
going
They
through.
should.
Like
You're 100%
you know,
right. I'm saying it's
like
my worst quality. And my
I don't want to miss out on like a good person because like they had some kind of like hiccup. And not to say I have written people off like fully, like it's happened. Typically people that flake out on plans, that's something that I'm just like, I can't deal with. Do not cancel on me, especially last minute,
yeah,
unless like someone died.
yeah, right. Or you broke something, a bone.
Yeah.
You broke a
Show me
bone.
your doctor's bill.
No, I think there's probably somewhere in the middle that we both should try to be. I could be more forgiving and like more people. Like even Maria and I this weekend, we happen to have a Friday night. We have no plans and we're going to go out to dinner. And we were both like, okay, let's throw a couple in the mix. Who do we want to invite? Like who could go? And like we're brainstorming people together, and it's like
And you're just slashing the list.
just one by one. Nah, no.
Man, it's tough.
Finally, we just go alone. Yeah.
Now, when you and Maria met, what would you say were her green flags for you? Like
For
what?
me, yeah, I love this. So green flags to me are I love somebody, and it can look like love bombing, so you have to be careful. But I love a vulnerability in someone that there's no game. Like literally, she was so honest. I like you. I really like you. I want to go out with you again. Like it was so clear to me her interest in me. She wasn't waiting to call me. She was texting me. I had a great time with you. That, like really kind things where it wasn't like I was wondering at all if this woman likes me. I know she does. And I remember thinking like, I'm not that way. Like I don't just spill it like that. But it was like really attractive to me because it's like, she's so confident that she's literally like just telling me I'm into you. I mean, she said those words, like, I'm really into you. Like,
I love that.
yeah. And there was just like this feeling of like, wow, you are that confident that you're not trying to act busy or like waiting a day. And I thought that was like a green flag.
Marina kind of did something similar, I feel like, because we were supposed to have drinks, meet for the first time. And she texted me that afternoon and was like, listen, I might not be able to make it tonight. Like, I'm really busy at work and I don't know if I'm going to finish up in time. And it put me off, because I was like, okay,
She's
like,
already blown me off.
yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
expecting like not to hear anything else. But she followed it up with like pictures of like what she was working on at work.
Oh, yeah.
And then hit me up like about like an hour later and was like, actually, everything looks like I'm good to go. Like, let's keep our plans. And then like we hung out, talked for a little bit, and I left there kind of like not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
But she texted me like shortly after we hung out that night and was like, I really enjoyed hanging out with you. Like, I'd love to like, can we meet up later?
It's like no games.
No games. And this is also reminding me too of when I met Tom. Like, I was in the midst of like dating guys that were, we're all in our early 20s or they were in their mid to late 20s. And it was game after game after game of like not knowing or waiting like the 3 days to call.
Yeah.
And we met and he called me the very next morning.
Yeah.
And was like, we made plans last night to go to the beach. Like, when are we going? Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
Right.
who actually does this?
Exactly.
And I loved that about him, that he like it was no games, and he also had no game.
Oh,
so
that helps too. That helps if you actually have no game. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good one. Another one to me is when people actually, and we've talked about this, but have a plan and like they're going out on a date with you. Don't ask me to come meet up with you and your friends. Like, that's so unattractive to me. Like, you're not 14.
That's something I didn't realize. I've heard this like recently,
Really?
like a few people bring this up. Yeah, like that's very off-putting.
It's off-putting. I want a grown woman who's like, has her shit together enough. Don't throw me in your mix. I am your plan. And what
Like,
do you
but
have
I
planned?
know that I've done that with like first meetups kind of thing. Because it's almost like I don't want to commit to like.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You don't want to commit. So why am I spending 2 hours?
Yeah.
with you?
Oh, now I see like how problematic it is.
It's off-putting. It's like dude-ish. It's like I don't know. Like, I appreciate someone that puts it together. And shows up. Like, I even am into the flowers. I know we talked about that. Not everybody is, but I'm into the whole thing. Like, make me your plan. If you're interested enough to spend 2 hours with me, I need to be your plan, or it's not worth it to me. I don't need to meet up with you and your friends. I could give a shit about your friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with that one for sure.
That's a green flag. Like, somebody who really is putting the effort in to, make an evening for you or a day or a coffee or whatever it is. Just be focused on the person that you're there with.
And I think to add to that, like following through on those plans, like
Yeah.
you make plans and you stick to them.
Yes.
Like I said, that's one thing that really
Right.
puts me off is if we've got plans and like you cancel last minute. Like this happened to me where I had already met this woman. We had like met at an event and then we were going to go hang out like a few weeks later. We were both so busy. This was like the first time that we had an opportunity to hang out. And so I texted her that day and was just like, just wanted to like firm up plans for tonight.
Yeah.
And she didn't text me back all day.
That's so
And it
rude.
wasn't until like the evening that she texted me and she's like, sorry, like the day got away from
Day got
me. I
away
can't
from
make it
me.
tonight. And I was like, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
I
I
was
think
so like
it's
pissed.
just, it's not, it's so rude. Like, I don't even
Yeah.
know. To me, it's like there is no second chance for that.
Yeah. It's
Like, you
rude.
can't,
It's immature,
it's
like all the
immature. It's, yeah,
things.
just right away. If you know you're not coming, or even if you think you might not be coming, the day doesn't
Yeah.
get away. Like, people
Right.
see who they want to see, they make time for what they want to make time for. So I think, yeah, that's a huge, like somebody who does what they say they're going to do, to me is extremely attractive. Even in my
100%.
work life, like I always admire people who do exactly what they say they're going to do. Like, I'll call you, I may not have the answer yet, but I'll let you know by X. And then when I hear from them by X, I'm like, okay, well, good. You know, like I know I can count on you.
Hmm.
You're an adult.
Yeah, if you're hearing from someone consistently too, like if they are checking in on you like every day at some point, it doesn't have to be like necessarily the good morning text when you're first seeing someone, but at
Yeah.
some point just being like, how's your day?
Yeah.
Not ghosting you for 3 days and then popping up last minute on a Friday and being like, what are you up to?
Right,
Want
right.
to come meet
Yeah.
my friends?
No, exactly. Like meet my friends. Exactly. Yeah, that's so true. It's like I want to know that there's some thought beforehand, you know, like you put it together and now here we are on the date. Like to me that feels so much better. I also think like people have lost the art of conversation in many ways and engagement. We've talked about like showing up ready to engage and find commonality. It's work, like a little bit, like at the beginning. And I today there was a mom who came and picked up her child from my house, and she didn't like. I carried the whole thing. Like there's no ability to like. I've had your kid for 2 days. Like don't. There's got to be
Oh my
something you're
God.
curious about.
Yeah, like what did they do? How
Yeah,
was
what did they
it?
do? How
Like,
was he? Blah, blah, blah. You know, like I don't, it's not much, but it's like if I'm going on a date with you and I'm giving you 2-3 hours of my time is my most precious commodity. If I'm here giving you that, I hope you'll engage and ask questions
ask good
and
questions.
yeah,
Ask about me. Ask
right,
about my life,
right. Because I know I'm going to
like
do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a showing an interest,
Yes. And then
those subtle things.
finding that commonality and building from that. But I think it's hard for people, like I don't know if it's like they were never taught or if it's just we're now in a it's 2023 and that's the world is moving so fast, people don't know how to do it anymore.
I mean, I think that's part of it. I think one, people are not taught. I felt like my parents did the best job of teaching me that part, but you can like Google this stuff, like good questions to ask on a first date,
Yeah,
like come prepared with like a good list of questions in your brain. Don't have them like, let me hold on,
yeah,
let me pull out my sheet of paper with my
right.
questions. But yeah, like have a few like conversation topics in mind.
Yeah, and usually if you're going out with them, there should be a curiosity. It's like I don't think I'd be having dinner with anyone that I'm not kind of curious about their work. I'm curious about randoms. Like if you're at the dog park and I start talking to someone, I am kind of curious what they're doing there at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. Do they live in my neighborhood? What do they do for a living? How do they
Where's your dog?
Where's your dog? Exactly.
Are you here?
Exactly. You get it. You get it.
I do, totally. I think another green flag is that they're kind to others. Like
Oh
if you
yeah,
watch how
that's a really
someone
good one.
treats like a server at a restaurant or
Yes.
cashier,
Yes.
speaks volumes,
Total volumes. Who was it? Was it
especially if
Alyssa?
there's a problem,
Yeah.
something wrong with your order and they like go off on the server. Like I'd
Yeah.
be like,
This
nope.
is weird. Yeah. What was it? Was it Alyssa who was like, I didn't like this woman because she didn't return the grocery cart?
Oh, was it Alyssa? That sounds like something Alyssa would say.
I know. Um, yeah, but being nice to the people that wait on you to me is a huge deal. Like sometimes I'm with my parents and I feel like my mom can be a little condescending to people working in like, and I've said something. I'm like, Mom, Jesus, like, can't you just like ask for the iced tea normally? Like, why do you why do you, I'll be, my sister and I'll be looking at each other like, what is mom's deal?
Ugh, my dad was like that when I was younger. I haven't been to dinner with him in forever, and it's one reason why I avoid it is because he used to be such a dick.
Yeah, mine kind
And
of
I was
is
just
too.
like,
Yeah,
oh, like get me out of here, man. Like it's
totally.
embarrassing.
I have this total memory that I talk about all the time with my dad that he, when we were little, I remember it took too long for our drinks to come. And next thing I know, my dad literally got up, walked behind the restaurant bar, and starts making our drinks.
Oh my
And
God.
it was like a nice restaurant, like a play. And my mom is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm getting the drinks. Like, I'm not waiting. Like, this is ridiculous." And I remember like that always stuck with me. No one even knew what to say. Like, jaws are like dropping. Like, what is he doing?
Oh my God. So no one stopped him?
No one stopped them.
Oh my God.
He's also
That's
a guy.
hilarious.
He's also the same guy who sent a bill to my dermatologist because we had to wait in the waiting room for a long time, and he said
Ah,
his time is just as precious, and he sent a bill literally to the dermatologist.
oh my God. Did he ever get paid?
No, I'm sure not. But this is what I grew up with. To give
He
you a
gets a
little
20 in the mail.
exactly.
He wasted more time writing
Totally.
the letter.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, being nice to the people that are there waiting on you, I think is a huge thing.
Another one is they're not reactive. Like you can have like a conversation about something that's like maybe kind of bothering you. I guess this would be like a little further along in
Yeah.
the relationship, but let's say something's bothering you about what's happening. Maybe they're not texting you. You can have that conversation and they aren't reactive. Like they
Yeah.
aren't immediately making it a fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had to learn that. Like, I don't know that I
Yeah.
was always, I think I'm less reactive now than I've ever been.
Sometimes it's almost like you're looking for a little bit of drama. And
Yeah.
like, I feel like now I've kind of like, you know what? Like,
Yeah.
I would rather just handle this like calmly and like get through it
Yeah. Or there's
and
things
not
that
lose any
used to
sleep.
come up that I'm like, that would trigger me normally. And then I'll like take a minute and think about it. And then I'm just like, you know what? It's not a big deal at all. Like I'm dropping it. You know, yeah, I
That's
think that's a
growth.
really good,
It's
it's
growth.
growth. Like it's not, and most of the time it's like silly. So, um, it doesn't do anything but cause fights. It's not worth it. Less reactive. That's a really good one.
The other one that I have is that the relationship is progressing at a comfortable pace.
Okay.
Like,
Describe comfortable place.
so
Comfortable
it's
pace.
not, well, okay, like I like my rule of you need to know someone for a full year, four
Mm-hmm.
seasons before you move in or
Yep.
make any life-changing decisions,
Okay.
right? But then there's no rush to do anything permanent. There's no rush to move in. There's no pressure to do it. There's no like right out the gate, you aren't like, okay, I want to meet your whole family,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or no ultimatums given, you know, right out the gate. Like
Mhm.
you've got to get rid of, you know, this person from your life because I don't really like that you guys dated for 3 seconds,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think that's good. And then what about like from a green flag perspective? Also, just when you first meet someone, that they do have like a life outside of you. Like
Yes.
women that have friends or like they have a job that they're, you know, I don't know, into enough. Like it's unattractive to me if you just like don't really have any friends or you're also like nothing going on at work. Like there's no drive there. You're just like waiting around. That hasn't really happened to me, but I've seen it before.
I think for sure, if someone doesn't have like some kind of outside of you support system,
Yeah.
like be it a friend or family member, yeah, that's
It's a
100%
kind of
like
like,
red flag to me.
yeah, like I
So
love,
having those good friends, at least someone,
which I think too
even
is
if
why
they're,
we say build community because it is like a green flag if you're part
yeah,
of something.
yeah, like totally. Like if I'm on the dating apps and looking at people and talking to people, and I learned that someone is like, oh yeah, I've got a good few friends that I hang out with, versus the person that is like, like I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I just kind of like to stick to myself. Now there are people that like to, that's how they live. But to me, like if you don't have at least one friend,
Yeah. Just like I don't, it feels too threatening that you're going to be so dependent on me.
yeah, like don't be so dependent.
And what opposed to there, like a lot of people have been cut off or maybe they've had stuff go down with their family. But I always wonder, like, if someone has no relationship with, not as, I mean, parents can be really hard, but even like if everyone, your siblings, like if you're so cut off, I don't think it's necessarily a red flag, but to me, it's more of a green flag if someone has a great family.
I think that
But
one can
it's
kind of
hard.
go either way
It's hard.
because it is like, yeah, there could be some really like traumatic history there and you've
Yeah.
had to leave.
Yeah, that could
Or,
be.
we've got to also give way to the people that are like newly doing this and kind of building their own way of like making friends and community and all that
Yeah, it
stuff.
takes
But
time. It surely
um,
takes time.
like you said, it's kind of the motivation to do so
Yeah.
because it's a nice little check mark on your dating resume.
Right. Of just like
Your
you've
little
got a,
green flag.
yeah, you got a little community. You're not just out there waiting on me to make a plan for you.
And kind of jumping off of that, if they have a hobby, like maybe
Yeah,
not so much the friend group, but some sort of hobby
totally.
that gets them outside of watching Netflix all day. Are they a runner or are
Yeah.
they knitting? I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they reading?
Yeah,
That
that's a
kind of
good
stuff.
point. That's a green flag to me for sure. If you've got something you're passionate about, it makes you interesting and layered. Like I like that a lot.
And another bonus is that you like animals.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting because we have a friend who does not want, she's probably listening. Her partner wants a dog and she does not. She just does not like dogs at all.
Like any kind of dog.
I mean, she likes our dog, but she doesn't really want a dog, I'm not even sure if she likes dogs. But and I tease her. I'm like, what the hell? Like, who doesn't like dogs? Like, what is wrong with you?
That was on Friends. I feel like it was either Ross, I think it's Chandler, doesn't like dogs.
And I think she doesn't care about
And he
your
claims to be
dog. But
allergic.
yeah, she's awesome. She's amazing, but
Does she like cats?
No, I don't think so. She might have had. I don't know. I don't think she wants any pets.
Any pets, period. I can understand that from the standpoint of like, it is a lot to take care of.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
I had a little period of time where I was totally pet free and it was very nice.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, God, what would it be like? Like when we travel and we have a break from the pets, I am like,
Where do
this is
you,
bliss.
who watches your pets when you travel?
We have this great dog sitter that we drop the dogs off at her house, and she's like amazing. But lately, she's been saying she can't do it, and we're so worried it's because our
the
puppy
puppy.
is so bad. But we found a place where we travel a lot. We found a place there that we've been using.
Oh, nice.
But I know we're going to catch such hell for this, but we're actually doing the thing where you send them away for 2 weeks. And
What, like a boarding kind of
it's
situation?
like a training boarding where they train them away because it's getting out of control. Like we've lost it's a losing battle and it's causing a lot of stress.
I know last time I was there, I was like, where's your dog?
Yeah.
Like we had to take him to doggy daycare just to
We do
get him out
doggy
of here.
daycare 4 days a week.
My dog just got spayed the other day, and I have never in my life had such a difficult time giving a pet medicine.
Really?
And she weighs 5 pounds.
Wait, do you do the pill pockets?
So I don't have the pill pockets, but her treats are so tiny that I can like mush them in there.
Yeah.
So I can do that, but some of the medication is liquid. And she like just trying to straight up like and put it in her mouth. She's like all over the place. She bit the fuck out of me like harder than I've ever been bitten by an animal.
I was like, we didn't have medicine, but yeah, we did after the spay. Yeah.
Oh, so
That's
yeah. Well,
a
in
pain.
hers, she had a hernia repaired too. So like the incision's bigger and they had to do staples.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they gave her like a little bit more like pain medicine or something for it, but whew, it's been like the bane of my existence the past few days, like trying to get this dog to take medicine.
That's funny.
Like,
Yeah, so that would be a green flag would be somebody willing to
so
help with the pets.
willing to help with the pets. And if you can give
What is that
an
movie?
animal medicine.
Yeah, must like dogs.
Most like dogs.
That one I don't
I
really
love it.
care. I don't really care about that so much. I do wonder though, like when people don't have any feeling, it's nothing, there's nothing wrong with this at all. And I love and respect people that don't want to have kids. I'm all about it. But when you just don't like babies at all, like then me personally, I'm like, how do you not like babies? Like what?
I mean, okay, I like babies, but kids, I'm like,
Oh, kids for sure.
but
Yeah.
I was that way before before I actually had a baby. Like you could not get me near a baby.
But to hold a baby, you didn't have the feelings of like, oh my God.
Not before I had kids. Like I
What?
held my niece when she was first like
Yeah.
born, and I took care of her and stuff, but I didn't feel that like baby fever that like a lot of people feel. I was just kind of like, she's cute, you know?
Okay. God,
But
that's so interesting.
now I feel it. Now that I've had two of my own, like, yes, like let me hold the baby. As long as it's someone I know well. Like if it's someone like that I don't know that well and they're like, oh, well, I'm like,
Don't
I
need
might
to.
throw the baby. So
I don't trust myself not to
I
throw
don't
the baby.
trust myself. Intrusive thoughts might take over and I don't want to be those.
Intrusive thoughts. I might throw the baby.
Is this a red flag for me that I
That's
might
a
throw the
serious
baby?
red flag. No, I know what you mean. That's really funny. Maria would have a baby right now. Like we wish we
Right?
could, like she would,
But
she
then
wishes
what?
we could have a baby.
Once the baby's let's say 18 months old,
I know.
then
I can
what?
still do 18 months. It's that 3 to 4 to 20.
It's 20. It's still an issue.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
That's
no, I
funny.
think back to the topic, we've really gotten off topic. You might need to edit some of this out. But the green flags also to me are people that are emotionally mature. We both at the beginning dated people that were very not emotionally mature. And I think that like now that's very unattractive to me. I could deal with it then, but I couldn't even really deal with it then. But it's like, you know who those people are. Like I remember thinking my teenager was more mature with her feelings.
Yeah.
And that to me I don't like that. I love women that are really emotionally mature. Maybe they've had therapy, maybe they've done the work, but they're just clear on what they want. They don't talk shit about people. They're like, I don't know, solid inside. And you know who they are. Like in my friend group, I know who those people are. I know who the ones that aren't.
That's very true.
We're all on our own journey, but there's something really attractive about people that are really emotionally mature.
Right. I totally agree. And I think, back then, if I were to encounter that same person today, my alarm bells would be going off after probably 2 months.
Yeah.
I think I would have been like, nope,
Yeah.
see you later. It's that point of like being so naive that we kind of ended up in that. And then that's how a lot of people do.
I think you get to a place that it all looks different. Like I'll tell you a quick story. Yesterday, I ended up, I was going to go work at a coffee shop for a little while. I was going to leave my office and go work at a coffee shop. So I said to Maria that I'm like, hey, if you feel like going to the coffee shop, call me and tell me. So she never did. So I just went on my own. My Tatum met me and we were just working. And then she called me and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm at the coffee shop. And she like had her feelings kind of hurt that like I didn't tell her I actually went to the coffee shop. She started to go down a path of like being mad or being annoyed that I'm doing this. But then it was just like she took 2 minutes to say like, I'm pouting right now. Like I wanted to be invited. And I'm like, I did invite you. But to her, it wasn't. It was more like she felt like I don't know, like she wasn't clearly, I want you to come, and I did. I don't know, it was like she made a decision in that moment to be like, sorry, this feeling is really this.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen you in a couple days. Like I want to be
emotional
there.
maturity.
Total emotional maturity.
And to be like, I've done this where it's like, I think I just need a pout.
I need
a moment to like be upset, not at you, but at the way that I feel.
Yeah. And then it was like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like I wanted you to come. That's why I mentioned I'm here. Please
Mhm.
don't.
I can see both sides to that. I probably would have felt left out.
Yeah. So it
Did
just,
she get back home and it was like, they left me?
I don't even know but it just took her 2 seconds to be like, you know what? That's not the feeling. I'm really sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. And I was like, that's your, like, yeah, I love that.
you're always invited.
You're always invited. And it's so attractive to me that you can identify the feeling and you're not just like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Green flag, green flag, green
Green
flag.
flag. All right, my friend.
All right.
I think this was a very helpful conversation.
I agree.
Why haven't we thought of this before?
I don't know. I guess because we've been so busy.
So we've been so negative.
We've been so negative. Let's get back on the positive train.
Okay. I
right.
think that's a good idea.
Sounds good. Goodbye, my friend.
Bye.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandallie@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Allie, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.